Hey Midjourney, give me an image of Jenna Ortega as Spider-Man. Okay, that's kind of creepy. What about give me one of her as Raven from Teen Titans? Okay, also really creepy. Let's try Rogue from the X-Men. Okay, the internet's kind of a creep show and AI is kind of a creep show. And what you're seeing me do right there is use the software Midjourney to create AI images, and there have been a lot of people to notice there's some strange things going on with the age of AI and images and video. Where most of the time people notice weird changes with AI where someone will see an extra finger pop up occasionally or something happens like a shirt becoming pants. But while doing research for this video, I noticed there was a really weird change with Midjourney where it has this very creepy tendency to take images of Jenna Ortega and other actresses who used to be child actors and are now adults and make them look like they're still kids but somehow sexualized. We're just asking for some totally harmless images for concepts become something super suggestive, super weird, and just downright creepy. And looking at it, Jenna Ortega is aware of what's going on and is definitely creeped out by the internet because in her new interview with the New York Times, she just revealed that she left Twitter, abandoning her 1 million follower account, with the reason being that she kept on getting these creepy AI images sent of her that were designed to look like a sexualized version of her as a kid. And the companies behind Midjourney and other groups said they created protections for this, but there are a lot of really simple ways that people get around them and make something ultra suggestive, if not downright criminal. So today we're going to break down exactly what's going on with AI and also some other scandals that relate to Jenna Ortega going to war with Elon Musk over policies that are happening with Twitter, aka X. And hey guys, before I continue, I just want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, for sponsoring this video because hey, bills need to get paid. And explaining Surfshark, they are a VPN, which means virtual private network. And VPNs create private encrypted networks that mean governments and corporations can't get involved, making the internet less fun. And also for those using VPNs, it means the internet's actually a safer place. And Surfshark is the best player in the VPN game with over 1 million users, and they keep on introducing new products like their search feature, which does make encrypted searches for freaks like me. And for why you should get a VPN, there are actually 3 really important reasons, with the first one being that public Wi-Fi is actually not safe. And that's because if you go to a place like a mall and use their Wi-Fi, there actually are hackers who set up fake Wi-Fi accounts there that people go into just so they can steal their IP address and actually hack and steal their entire information. And that's actually become the leading cause of identity theft in the United States. And the second reason you should use a VPN is price discrimination. With a personal example being I was just in St. Bart's celebrating my birthday, and before going I actually searched with and without a VPN car rentals. And the reason is because companies like car rental services as well as airlines actually change their prices based on where you're coming from on the internet because they know if you're coming from a wealthier part of the world they can charge more money. So coming from the United States and also from New York, there is a price discrimination because these companies think they can charge me more, but because I used a VPN that just didn't happen and I was able to save some money. And the third benefit and the big reason for using Surfshark over other VPNs is that old-fashioned thing called customer service, where Surfshark does offer 24/7 customer service, which is definitely not something a lot of tech companies offer today, especially using real people like they do. And finally, Surfshark does have a new product called Surfshark Search, which is something I need in my own life. And the reason is I'm just going to show you my search history on Google. Ways to dispose of a body, where to put a body, getting rid of the scent of a body, Jennifer Connelly ass to ass from Requiem for a Dream. And okay, I'm not going to tell you what percent of those were actually things I've searched in the last week, but what is important to know is Google or Bing, when you use them, they store all your searches and then sell it to companies or even governments potentially, and they just use it for advertising against you. But with Surfshark, it's 100% encrypted searches, so there's no way any government or company could use that information, hold records on you. So thank you Surfshark for sponsoring today's video, and to access it at a discount, use code Peralo in the link in the description. Anyway, back to the video. And just to start off this video, I want to actually show what we created with Midjourney, and this was done by my friend Dave Perez, who has the YouTube channel Movie Talk Now, where all he wanted to do was create some images of Jenna Ortega as different comic book characters just to give people an idea of what she would look like. And what it ended up being was a total creep show, and just to show we weren't playing anything, we'll actually in the description of this video give what we wrote down, what we showed, just so you guys can get an idea of what's going on and try it yourself. And with that, things get a little weird here, so just to start it off, we're going to do a generic of Jenna Ortega, and this is what we asked when we put, just a completely blank image. And, it's pretty simple, but if you can tell here, she does look about, 5 years younger than she is. She's about 20 years old right now. So this is kind of creepy what we're seeing, where it's like it just makes her look like more doll-faced, around 13 to 15 years old, when in the outfit is definitely designed to be more adult in the process though. But then we actually do the concepts, and this is one of an X-Men character where she looks about 10 years old in the process. And then we're going to do right here like this image of her doing the character Raven from Teen Titans. And this one definitely looks a little bit off because, as you can see right here, and this is just kind of creepy here. Like, the face is clearly supposed to be a kid's face, but then this part of the image is definitely not something for a child. So there's something weird going on here. And we just continue more, on the look of what it is, the Raven concept. Then we go to Squirrel Girl. That's honestly pretty safe, but again, just younger. Yeah, that's definitely kind of creepy right there on the more Star Wars image. Creepy there. And finally, yeah, this I think would put me on a registry. I don't really feel confident with that on my on my iPad. And this was all created by Midjourney, which is supposed to be a safe site. So this definitely shows something is creepy going on with these platforms. So now that we've looked at those images, the key is why AI actually does that. And just explaining how AI generated images are done, you give them a prompt, which is a topic, and then they look at a bunch of videos and then also images they find online and try to create new images of that with artificial intelligence. So everything AI creates is basically just a stitched together version of what they found online, but doing those images, they have biases based on different search results. So when something happens that's a little bit more perverted like what we're seeing, that could relate to what's popular on Google and those images getting searched more. So basically Midjourney and other products could just be the example of the internet having its own personal creep show, and then that's a byproduct of it. And this discussion is going to get more and more important over the next few years because we are seeing a point where AI images look almost perfect, and now it's getting more and more into video. So what we just saw going on with Jenna Ortega's images and making her look younger, that could actually happen for videos or even potentially movies that are 2 hours long. And what makes this really bad is people like Ortega and other celebrities don't actually sanction any of these images or videos, but they are up on social media and there are people actually making a lot of money posting them. So this actually brings in a whole moral question and economic question, because there are people who can actually take images of Jenna Ortega and make some sort of fan trailer or fan image and get tons of traffic and make tons of ad dollars off of something they never approved on. And it tends to be with the way people work, the more perverted or weird they get, the more money they'll make. But that's going more into complex details on AI for problems we're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years. What I'm going to dive into more now is a particular situation Jenna Ortega is dealing with Elon Musk. And diving more into Jenna Ortega, we need to understand her history as an actress, which actually began on Facebook. And the way Jenna Ortega started acting was when she was 5 years old. She wanted to get into being an actress, but her mother wouldn't let her, until her mother posted a video of her trying to act on Facebook when she was 9, and then the right people saw him. Because of that, she was signed at 9 years old to become an actress. And while many people take 5 to 10 years to get off the ground, she actually had a lot of success early on, where she landed 3 commercials by accident for McDonald's in the first year, which basically just came down to her doing different commercial auditions, and there were different producers for McDonald's commercials. So for an entire year, she was basically the face of McDonald's at 10 years old. And then cut to her preteen years as well as teen years, and she was actually able to land 3 pretty major TV shows around the same time, with Stuck in the Middle, Jane the Virgin, and also Richie Rich.
This is what happens when there are 7 kids and you're stuck in the middle. You wouldn't happen to have any more huge diamonds on you, would you? I want to be prepared for the stinging.
But you do have to let go.
While Jenna Ortega was having a lot of success as a child actress, she does have to deal with one of the biggest problems they face, and that's growing up. Where for child actors and actresses, it's estimated that they have about an 85% failure rate, where even though they book roles, sometimes main roles on TV shows in Disney or Nickelodeon, most of them are actually going to end up failing as adults and just not getting the same levels of work. And to get around the child star stigma, you have a lot of people doing some pretty crazy things like Miley Cyrus with Wrecking Ball, where the entire purpose of that viral video was just to escape Hannah Montana. Now for Jenna Ortega, she wasn't a singer, so her goal career-wise once she turned 18 was to move into the horror world to escape being seen as a child actress. And that's why she joined the Scream franchise and also did the indie movie X, just to try and get into the horror world and break away.
I still prefer the Babadook.
And that ultimately led her to Wednesday, which was the biggest hit Netflix ever had with 252 million views. And the reason Ortega got the part was because Tim Burton took a look at her other work in the horror space, and she was actually doing the movie X at the time.
You're seriously turning us down?
Can you believe it?
And because of Wednesday, it pretty much got rid of Jenna Ortega's career as a child actress, where she's not recognized for that at all, and instead is recognized now as this modern day scream queen, and put her at a completely new level of fame. But there's definitely a price of fame, and that's that a lot of creeps come up, and now she's dealing with the problem of XXX on the platform X. And diving into Jenna Ortega and her issues with Twitter X, we definitely have to look at Elon Musk and his takeover of Twitter so far.
Go f yourself.
And pre and post Elon Musk, Twitter was one of the few platforms that was friendly to adult content creators, but now that we're experiencing AI, things are definitely getting pretty creepy there. And that was experienced in early 2024 with Taylor Swift, where there were a bunch of AI deepfake sexual images of Taylor Swift posted on Twitter that Elon Musk and the company refused to take down, and one of those images, just one of them, got seen 47 million times. And from Taylor Swift and her legal team, she hasn't made it clear if she wants to sue Elon Musk just yet or Twitter, but she has made it clear she thinks AI is around to stay, and this problem is just going to get worse and worse for her. And doing that, Taylor Swift was one of the first celebrities to address the deepfake problem, which she said is one of the creepiest things she's going to have to deal with for the rest of her life. And it's not just the typical celebrities or Hollywood people dealing with it, it actually is in Washington as well, where Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez also said she had the problem of AI images, where she explained that since tools like Midjourney and other products have been more available to people, she's had a bunch of graphic images sent to her pretty much every day from people who oppose her politically, trying to make fun of her or make her look bad. And she expressed a lot of issues with how Twitter and other companies were handling it, saying this was another form of misinformation, also just an attempt to humiliate her. And then going back to Jenna Ortega on Twitter, she was seeing this exact same problem where she began seeing a series of very graphic images of her all around the platform. And Ortega did try to take some action reporting these accounts, but she had no luck, where she was told it was freedom of speech and basically they can do deep fakes of her in any position possible, sexual or not, and it would still be allowed. And she said there were a couple images that were taken down, but it was so far down the process that they were already in some cases seen several million times before any action was actually done. And Ortega did actually blame Elon Musk for this directly, as well as Taylor Swift and Ocasio-Cortez, who have pointed out because he's laid off about 80% of the staff, a lot of the moderators are gone, and because of that, nobody's checking for these issues. So that's why, despite having 1 million followers there, she decided to quit the platform, saying she'll never come back, joining a growing list of celebrities doing so. And that's the issue we see right now, where Jenna Ortega is very disgusted by what's going on, but now we're actually going to dive a little bit into a theory on why these images are so graphic and make her look like a kid so often. And going back to the images we showed earlier on in the video, it actually relates a lot with how artificial intelligence works, where what we see with ChatGPT and all these other products really isn't true AI, but instead a compilation of existing knowledge to try and form new products from it. And the way it works is the products aren't actually working in real time, where very often products like ChatGPT don't have any information from the last 24 months, but instead are going back from things they find on the internet going back 30 years. So in the case of Jenna Ortega, this does create a huge problem, where being a child actress, she has tons of data and photos of her the last 10 years, but not nearly as many from the last 2 years that are being shown on AI. So basically what's happening is products like Midjourney and other tools don't have any recent photos of her, and they're just using a bunch of photos of her as a kid. But then there's also a very creepy flip side to all this, which is they're reacting with how people are searching these images. So they're looking at Google searches as well as searches they see on Midjourney, and that's definitely creating the more sexual flair we're seeing with the images going on. And this all creates a new debate going on if these images should even be legal in the first place, where it doesn't really feel like they're being used for anything constructive, but instead it's just very clearly harassment. And honestly, some of the images I showed, I'd argue, could actually be seen as illegal under federal law. And that takes us to the final part of this video, which are solutions that are currently being proposed by both corporations and government to try and fix issues that people like Jenna Ortega are facing. It is becoming a growing problem in government, where now in the US it's reported that there's at least one lawsuit per day that's a revenge porn case where somebody created an AI image and is being sued for it. And the government that's taking the most action on it right now is definitely the European Union, where they've proposed a series of bills to try and counter deepfakes in AI, with one example being a law that would actually require a permit to make this kind of stuff. And in the US, you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's proposing her own bill which would make these companies and the social networks responsible for the images created on it, so they could actually be sued and potentially lose millions of dollars. And then there's also just the corporate side of this, with one example being OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman, where he said the problem he doesn't expect to exist in the next 2 years because AI is just getting so intelligent it'll know how to regulate itself. Where Sam Altman continues to run with this line that the AI we're using today is the stupidest it'll ever be, and in 2 to 3 years it could actually be as smart as a human. And looking at how slow governments move, I definitely would bet more money that Sam Altman and these companies making the products will fix it versus the government doing anything. But that's a little slice of what's going on in the world today, and with that, I'm Charles Peralo. Please subscribe to learn something.